Okay, let's jump right into it. You can see these zucchini plants. On the right are new ones I planted just recently. On the left is the one that never yielded. So I'm hoping that between now and the first frost, we'll have something. There's my carrots and some little, nice little cute little yellow cherry tomatoes. These are like, I guess they call them volunteers. These are all from last year. I had so many of these a couple of years ago, and there's so many seeds left. And these things, at the end of the year, all you have to do is have a handful of them and put them in the ground. Even over winter and the frost and everything, they'll come back up. But yeah, in fact, I just had. Well, I'll show you some of my other tomatoes, but I just had a nice. This time of year, I take a wraps, and I just slice up a tomato, put some mayonnaise or olive oil on it, maybe a little piece of kale, and I just then roll it up with maybe a slice of cheese, and I'm eating that, every day. You see, I have some more of those tomatoes in here next to my kale plant. But the rant part of this isn't the longest video. It's only going to be about 10 minutes long. Is that there have been a lot of developments in this past week, or in the past several weeks, and you see kale here right now. But what people aren't really seeing is this, what they call the bureaucrats, the deep state people that are subcontracting to all these groups where people who once worked for government, they form these groups. And they're all ex-spies or, military people or whatever. And they're tied into this big data collection where over the past 20 years, they've collected so much data on people that if you take what used to be called the prime demographic, the 18 to 44 group of young adults, as they say, that's by the time they reached college age, that they were already, the internet was in full bloom. There was already email, there was already texting, and it wasn't long before the smartphone and Facebook, social media, and all that stuff, became a major part of their lives. And so all of this information, all of their connections, everything that they've done, not to mention that their records from grade school on up were all being plugged into computers, even back in as early as the 90s and before, but I mean definitely into the late 90s. That you have this whole 18 to 44 group as an example. That doesn't mean it doesn't include people who are old, because obviously they've been involved in this just as much. But I'm talking about what we call the prime demographic. The people that, remember, when you look at Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden or Trump or Mitch McConnell or Schumer or Nadler, these are very old men and women, both Democrats and Republicans. They're, at best, are going to be in the limelight or in politics for another 4 years. That's it. So who's running society and who's going to run society? The 18 to 44 group. And so here you have a group that predominantly were shielded from any kind of consequences for their actions. They weren't yelled at. If their parents even yelled at them or punished them, that was considered child abuse. Teachers couldn't, stop them from texting in classrooms, or the teacher would get called into the principal's office, not the student. And so and that's why you see all these riots and this stuff on the street and all these movements, and where people, it's gimme, 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 me, I want, the entitled generation, or people triggered by things, virtue signaling and all that kind of stuff. But what nobody understands is that is just a surface. It's like the cover for what's really going on. When you dig down deep, the idea is that, yeah, these people are triggered and they respond to certain signals, but it's the big data that they're trying to use in order to create predictive behavior. And you can think of a movie like Minority Report where they really got into predictive behavior. However, this is just as bad as Minority Report. It's just not sci-fi. It's actually it's technical. It's big data. It's something that's actually being done right now. People can contract these groups, these organizations, these contractors, and they can select the jury pool. This is before the lawyers get a chance to say, I don't want that guy or I don't want that woman. This is the pool, the overall pool. And someone who wants to control the outcome of a trial could select people based upon all of this data they have, and in effect have enough predictive behavioral sense that they know the outcome of that trial in advance. From the odds standpoint, these are all, these are cayenne peppers, the green ones, and the yellow banana peppers. There's one with a little bit of orange on it. I think the longer they're on there, they'll turn. I've had some of the cayennes turn red, only 2 so far, and I've had one of the yellow banana peppers actually turn orange. But yeah, this is the thing that people need to really think about. So whatever your political ideology is, whether you lean left or right or whatever, the point is this is inevitable, and the powers that be, they don't really care about that. They just use division to keep your eye off the ball, keep your eye off of big data and their ultimate goal. Look how out of control this area is. It was like so covered with flowers where bees were getting in there on that old oregano that I couldn't get in there to weed, so I said the heck with it. And now I'm getting a lot of tomatoes, so I really don't care. So sometime in October, I'm going to have a heck of a time cleaning all this mess out. But you see my tomatoes are finally starting to turn red on the vine. So I'm very happy about that. Like I said, I've been eating tomatoes every day, and it's great. And they're real tasty. I think technically these are called Better Boy tomatoes. And of course I've got some Roma tomatoes and and just the cherry tomatoes, which I showed you earlier. So that's, my garden is basically out of control, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's providing plenty of food. Still getting kale. I planted some more lettuce, so I'm hoping to get lettuce, in the fall again before the freeze. Some more kale before the first frost. Cilantro and things of that nature. So it's like the second garden in September and into October, which I've already pulled out my potatoes. I still have to yank out the carrots. So it's really despite, if you watch some of my earlier videos where I was a little bit unhappy, I couldn't be happier at this stage of the game as far as the plenty of food. I have no reason to spend money at the grocery store except to buy, a few things like salad dressing, or mayonnaise or some olive oil or, odds and ends like that. Because basically everything else I just get free. I just go out in the garden and pick it fresh every day. So anyway, it's a very strange mix, I guess, of a video. Big data versus plenty in the garden, but this is my way of being free of all that nonsense. I got rid of my smartphone as far as the cell service and the connection to that. I still use it. This video was shot with my old iPhone, but that's basically what I use the iPhone for, as a camera. I pulled out the card, in it, and so that's that. If you want to know more about me, my beat poetry tracks, or my books, I'm working on another book. Should be out by Christmas. Visit rockflux.com, my website. Check out the videos. They're free all over the place. You could see them on YouTube. It's basically, they're not music videos per se, but you can listen to the music on Spotify, iTunes. Same with my books. They're available on Amazon and through the iBook store, etc. So anyway, there's the bird feeder. There's a cardinal up there somewhere. And there he is, bottom of the screen. Nice little cardinal. Take care. See you soon. Bye.